Gary Potter. For this lesson, let's work on some techniques for soloing over a 12-bar blues in G. What we're talking about here is improvisation over a 12-bar blues in G. And that lick that you just heard was a combination of different techniques over the track that we have at PracticeTheGuitar.com. You also will find the tablature for this lick on the Facebook for PracticeTheGuitar.com and also on the backing track page at PracticeTheGuitar.com. Definitely check that out. Now, there are a few different scales and techniques that you could play over a 12-bar blues. And one of the very most common things that you would hear would be the minor pentatonic scale, in this case the G minor pentatonic scale, here on the 3rd fret. If you're not familiar with that scale, you will also find plenty of exercises for the pentatonic scales at PracticeTheGuitar.com. But here's the scale, which is 1-4, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1-4. So what you just heard there was a quick little example using the G minor pentatonic scale over the track. The next example is the G major pentatonic scale. And what we would have here is, still starting from G, a 2-4, 1-4, 1-4, 1-3, 2-4, 2-4 type pattern. So here's the scale. And the same thing here. If you're unfamiliar with that pattern, you will find this shape and all the other pentatonic shapes at PracticeTheGuitar.com. So what you heard there was just another quick little example, but using the major pentatonic scale over the track. So obviously the whole point of this lesson is to get you to try the backing track and use these scales at PracticeTheGuitar.com, where you can get a feel for what the two different pentatonic scales sound like and get better at it. Here is a mix of both scales over the track. So here's where we get back to that very first lick that I played at the beginning of the video. And as I take you through this, you're going to see how it has a mix of those two scales combined into one phrase. So if you look at that lick, it's starting on the 3rd fret, and you're doing a slide to the 4th fret, and then going to the 2nd string, and then the 6th fret. And you can see those are all notes from major pentatonic and minor pentatonic. So for example, the B flat would be from G minor pentatonic, the B natural would be taken from G major pentatonic. And then the same with the next two notes here. Both notes, the D fits into both scales, I should say, here. And then the F is taken from G minor pentatonic. And then the lick just goes on, mixing the two scales. So you can see you got 3rd fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 6th fret, then it goes to the 5th fret, 3rd fret, back to the major 3rd, which is the 4th fret on the 3rd string. Then it jumps to the 9th, which is an A in relationship to G, and then goes back to the F, then the 3rd fret, which is a D, then it does a pull-off from the 5th fret to the 3rd fret, then lands on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, then moves to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, does a hammer-on back to the major 3rd, the root of the scale, which is the G, and then a pull-off to the flat 7th, which is taken right out of the minor pentatonic scale. So the whole lick here it's a clever little weave through the two different scales, and definitely worth working on. And you'll find the tablature for this at both the PracticeTheGuitar.com Facebook page and on the page for the backing track. So here's another example over the track using some ideas based off of this lick. So I really hope you take that lick and try it for yourself over the backing track at PracticeTheGuitar.com. I think you'll get a lot from that. There are also some other techniques that you could use for improvising over a blues like this, which would be more chord-based. Just simple arpeggios outlining the chord tones from the 3 chords that are being used in the progression. So what's being outlined here is a G7 for 4 measures, then a C7 for 2 measures, and then a G7 for 2, then it does D7, C7, G7, back to D7, just a standard 12-bar blues. So you could take simple little patterns to find the 4 notes that make up each chord. So for a G7, you would have G, B, D, and F. And when I'm playing over the G chord, you can focus on those 3 notes, 4 notes. And then when it goes to the C7, you're going to have a C, an E, a G, and a B flat. So when it goes to the C7, the same thing there. For the D7 chord, you could have D, F sharp, A, and C, or if you want to bring that up an octave, D, F sharp, A, and C here. So again, G, B, D, and F, C, E, G, and B flat for the C7, and then D, F sharp, A, or the octave up, D, F sharp, A, and then C here. So that was just another quick little example of just improvised arpeggios following the chord progression itself. And you could take the notes from the arpeggios just to practice them doing quarter notes or eighth notes or triplets or 16th notes, whatever you want to get more comfortable with moving around the neck, finding just the arpeggios. And then once you get comfortable with that, you can mix the two, meaning the minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, and then the arpeggios as well. So, like I said before, I encourage you to go check out the backing track at PracticeTheGuitar.com. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson. Click on the link that's right below the video. That will take you over to PracticeTheGuitar.com, and there you will find this backing track at 15 different tempos that you could be practicing with. 100 beats per minute is free. Check it out. See you next time.